Hi, everyone. We have a few listener questions for Archangel Michael. One pertains to listener Laurie, who recently lost her mother-in-law, and our sincere condolences. As I understood, she died, well, cared for and surrounded by her loved ones and rich of days and experiences, and of course that's everything that any of us can hope for, but that doesn't take anything away from the grief that you are all naturally experiencing. And so we have a question saying that she was having a dream that many people were boarding buses to go on a trip when my husband woke me to say she passed. Was this her saying goodbye? And I think we will do the natural progression from death to life. So the next question pertains to a child who's acting out a little bit. So that's in a completely different ballpark, but of course also one who has just emerged from the spiritual non-physical realms. And the question says, Oscar, our younger son, is such an amazing being. He is expressive, energetic, and a lot of fun. Most of the time, then, there is another side of him that is quick to argue and lash out when things don't go his way. He gets very off balance. I understand that part of this is that he may be reflecting his parents, who at times are also quick to argue. Other than reflecting us, what else can you perceive in his energy field in this regard? And part two is when he gets behind on his e-learning and cannot write as fast as the teacher is demonstrating on screen, he gets very emotional, cries, and walks away from the screen. What is going on here, and how can we best support him? I feel it is best to give him a hug, and my wife Jacqueline feels differently and attempts to force him back onto his computer screen. Please advise. So much love and gratitude to you, Mes, and your guides. And our love and gratitude to you too, guys. So without further ado, I'll bring in the Archangel and let's see what he has to say about these things. It is I, the Archangel Michael, bringing to you from the heavens our eternal and undying love for you, our peace and blessings, and our wisdom to shed light on these questions that you bring to us. We will inform you, dear Laurie, that it was a sign from your passing mother-in-law. She felt very grateful to you for those times that you had spent together while she was in health, and also for these days where you have cared for her so well and made her transition to the other side so unencumbered and smooth sailing as she could hope for. We use the image of the sailboat because she is now passing on that riverboat that ferries the dead across the waters of the river, separating them from the living, and to those banks where the realms of eternal life begin. She is there rejoicing in all the experiences that she has had while she was in this body and this identity. And she is making an account of all the things she learned and all the things that she intends to experience in this next cycle of reincarnation that is coming forward. The reason she chose to communicate to you in this way, with this type of image in the dream of the people getting on buses, was partly to reveal to you the multiplicity of her character. It was all her incarnations and all her facets as a personality expressed in that crowd of cheerful excitement passing on into the unknown. And she knew that you would resonate with this vibration because you too are a family person who enjoys these outings and gatherings and expeditions into the unknown and the great outdoors, surrounded by people that you love. She was surrounded by people that she loved. And she is, her energy, her spirit, or her angelic expression is present there with you now to also console you and to imbue within you those memories and fond recollections which she wishes for you to bring forward in this experience of grief and sorrow that is natural when someone that you have held dear passes. She wants you to know that she is thankful, and she wants you to know that whenever you may wish to talk to her or gain her presence, you can turn your attention to her, and there your energy will be because she has left that. There her energy will be because she has left that imprint and impression on your heart. She is at peace, and she is grateful, thankful, and joyful about the life that she has experienced. We will proceed to answer the second question. And we will illuminate this question by also pointing out that what boy Oscar is in many ways missing is exactly that need for tripping himself. He wishes to also escape some of the constraints that he feels is holding him back in this world. And he is unable to comprehend or understand why his world is shifting and why these emotions that he is experiencing and that he is also picking up from his environment, as you point out, why these emotions are present. We would remind you that rage is in and of itself not an unhealthy instinct. That is to say that it is a mode of self-preservation and insistence on your own integrity in circumstances that may seem confusing and threatening. but it is, of course, detrimental for the well-being of a human to constantly experience these fits of rage. We will remind you that he is better built for it in his age, but that what can be done to counteract some of these impulses in him is not only to accept it, which we sense that you already are, but it is to find those counter experiences which you may present him with. As we point out, we sense that his experience of taking a trip or having that feeling of going somewhere unknown and experiencing something new within a framework that he doesn't already know, that would be healthy for him. It doesn't need to be something grander than, for instance, his mother or his father taking a trip with him on his own to perhaps a pet store, or perhaps even just a playground where he hasn't been before. But we sense that this would be good for him because he is experiencing a sense of constriction as he grows into that age where it is expected of him to be more and more disciplined and to attend to, for instance, e-learning classes. We sense that in the case of e-learning, and in the particular case of Oscar, there is a type of compromise to be had between the approach of you, where you want to hug him, and the approach of your wife, who wants to adopt a more stern or disciplined approach, you could say, in human language. That is to say, she wants to also train him to be able to suppress some of those instincts within him that do not necessarily sit well with his ability to actually function in the world as it is demanded of him. But I would say, and with me the wisdom of the entire heavens, that the compromise would be to actually give him a timeout. And we do not mean this in any sense as a type of punishment where he is to be restricted, but we mean that it would be healthy for him to have a set amount of time. And we sense in his case between 5 and 7 minutes, depending on the case, but not going as far as 10, where he will begin to then shift his focus, but simply to give him that time and to not necessarily pay him too much attention in that time, but just to let him know that he is free to go outside, or he's free to sit down, or he's free to do whatever in that time span. And then you will tell him when he needs to get back. And we sense that this will, in some sense, both offer him a feeling of freedom, that his personal space is also respected. But it will also give him that sense of discipline, that he is actually able to step away from a situation and then reset his own emotions and then get back and work with it. And we feel that, of course, you should hug and love your child as you do. That is good. But know that he already knows that you love him and that you have his support. And he will also be progressing into an age where he feels he needs to establish his own limits as the youngest in a son of as the youngest son in a family where there is also a lot going on energetically. This rage is also a way for him to distance himself, understood in a positive way. That is to say that he is learning that he can, by signaling emotion, also gain a sense of control and integrity, which he is naturally missing as he is the youngest in a situation that he did not create or control from a conscious perspective. That is what we would offer you in this hour answering of your questions. And I, Archangel Michael, I will leave you with a blessing relating to what you have asked me. Isplam stikakstiast ujirandanyanuam imbisandas tikangti ifiturandan duastak itifimbastiangi swandiaki tial ustikindiam painiandaki istiki anda bidangi daili ulinda kti rastula kitifum. In your journeys from life to life, you come upon explosions that force you to throw everything up in the air and to become closely intimated with those feelings that overwhelm your heart and that are calling out for your care and attention. Treasure also those feelings of anger and sorrow, because they are a celebration of the essential wilderness of existence. The garden you find yourself is overflowing with all these fruits, and some of them you need to pick and taste and experience in order to know your way around the garden and around the strange and mysterious lands surrounding them, where you go to and where you pass from as you navigate this eternal passage of your eternal life. I, the Archangel Michael, and the heavens along with me, we bless you and we love you and we support you in where and whatever you may go and do. Blessed are you, humans. Farewell. Yeah, that Michael, it moves my heart every time. Hope you could use it for something, guys. See you.